Identifying the concepts in your research topic or your research question and coming up with keywords for searching are both underappreciated skills. Done well, this will save you a ton of time and result in finding much higher quality information. Some of this will seem very basic and possibly obvious, but everything that we do from this point builds on these ideas, so we're going to start at the very beginning. In this case, the very beginning, after you have a research question or a topic, of course, is thinking about the main concepts that make up your search. There's a nice balance here. You don't want too few and you don't want too many. 2 or 3 is usually just right. Usually these are the nouns in your research question, and if you write out your question, you can circle them. Let's say I identified this as my research question. In women with anxiety disorders, can regular participation in yoga sessions reduce anxiety symptoms? How many concepts are included here? I identified these 3: women, anxiety disorders, and yoga. And this is much more of an art than a science. You could have looked at this and identified different concepts, and that's okay. In your search, you're trying to pull out the concepts that are most important to you or the things that you want to learn the most about. If concepts are the ideas in your search, then keywords are the different words that might describe your ideas. For example, if I'm researching something related to children, then there are a lot of different words that could possibly describe my population. The idea of keywords shouldn't really be new at all. This is how you search already. The basic idea is that you're searching on the main concepts of your topic in your own words. This is always where I start my search, is with words that are coming out of my own mind. It's also what I use if the term covers a new topic or is sort of jargony, and we'll get back to subject headings later. Unfortunately, keywords are also imprecise and can end up finding a lot of non-relevant information. Or if you don't know the jargon or the technical term for the discipline, your keywords may not work very well. Now, before we get much further into the search process, it's always a good idea to do a test run using your initial concepts. Try to remember that this is just the start of your research. I've been a librarian for almost 10 years, and my initial searches tend to not come up with exactly what I'm looking for. Frustrating results are the norm at this point, and you're welcome to freak out. Well, at least for a few minutes. I like using either OneSearch or Google Scholar for my test searches. Today, I'll demonstrate using OneSearch, which is the main search box on the library's homepage. It sort of tries to act like Google, but for the library's databases and resources. Keep in mind that we have a lot of resources, so your search is going to bring up a lot, only some of which will be relevant. I'm going to start my test search with just the main concepts that I came up with from my example: women, yoga, and anxiety. What we're going to do here is just go through the first page or two just to get an idea of the kind of articles and the kind of research that is coming up based on our initial search. If you find some good stuff, that's awesome. If not, think about ways that you might alter or modify your search. In this case, I'm finding that women in general might be too broad. I might need to focus on a specific population, such as pregnant women or older women. You can also decide to take your search in a totally different direction if you're intrigued by some aspect of the topic that you hadn't yet considered. Remember that research is iterative and doesn't happen in a straight line. The bad thing is that this initial search is where most students and even some more experienced researchers stop. We, on the other hand, are just getting started. Now, it's not okay to just use a few keywords because that really limits what you can find. We need to take a moment to brainstorm as many alternative terms as we can. Let's use another example related to cyberbullying in adolescence. First, we identify our concepts. So in this one, we've got cyberbullying, middle school students, school strategies, and suicide attempts. 4 concepts is a lot, but we're going to go for it for now. Now that I have my concepts, it's time to identify additional terms. So these are some additional terms that I came up with just sort of brainstorming and thinking off the top of my head. This is really only limited by your imagination and the amount of time that you want to spend on this activity. Now, if I do a test search at this point and only find a few articles, I can feel free to drop a concept, maybe the one that I identify as being the least essential. Then try the search again with only 3 concepts versus 4. How you do your brainstorming is totally up to you. Feel free to type out a list or even jot down your notes on paper. At this stage, don't discount any words that you think of or get too frustrated if your vocabulary is limited. You'll learn more about strategies useful for finding more search terms later in the course. In summary, the first step in searching is to identify concepts. These are the main ideas of your search. Then you'll think about keywords. These are the words that you are coming up with to describe your concepts. You'll want to do a test run, and you'll want to do it early on before you get entrenched in your search, where it will be even more frustrating if you get stuck. And the more you brainstorm and the more terms you come up with, the more options you will have.